Coming up on the world's most expensive rides, a super rare car from days gone by roars into life on the streets of Beverly Hills. An insanely cool Italian power yacht makes a splash in Miami. And a rugged truck gets an extreme and extravagant makeover. It looks like a classic European sports ride, drives like a souped-up muscle car, and is the forerunner of some of the world's most iconic automobiles. The half-American, half-British Shelby Cobra 289. A super rare, power-packed beast with a storied history and an astronomical price tag. The Cobra owes its legendary reputation to two simple features, a very lightweight body and an extremely large engine. This black beauty tips the scales at almost 2,500 pounds, almost a quarter of that, a 4.2-liter V8. In its heyday, the Cobra won countless races at Daytona and Sebring at top speeds of 153 miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Stats like these inspired American auto designers to come up with production models built on the same simple principles.
The Shelby Cobra is probably really the forerunner to the muscle car, and most true muscle cars have been affected by this design.
If you like your cars fast, loud, and packed with power, then the Shelby Cobra is the car for you. But good luck finding any kind of Cobra to call your own. Only around 600 of these small block Cobras were ever built. And Beverly Hills real estate investor and car collector Bruce Meyer is lucky enough to own one of the rarest in the world.
This is a 1962 Shelby Cobra and the very first production car, serial number 1, CSX 2001.
The Cobra sprang from the mind of an automotive genius, former racing driver turned designer, Carroll Shelby.
My name's Carroll Shelby, and performance is my business.
The Cobra was Shelby's attempt to bring the thrill of racing to the average Joe.
About all I had was an idea. You might even call it a dream. It was to build a sport car that, first of all, more people could own and enjoy driving, and second, that could race under American colors and maybe prod the old established names a little bit.
The brash Texan had the crazy idea of pairing a red-blooded American V8 with a trim European sports car, and in 1961, he teamed up with British car makers AC Bristol. Shelby convinced them to go along with the mad experiment, and the car they created has gone on to become a legend.
The genesis of the car is the AC Bristol. The AC is an automotive company that made the cars, and Bristol made the engine. And when Bristol stopped making the engine, they were looking for a replacement engine, and Shelby was looking for a place to put a hot rod V8, and they came together and, the Shelby Cobra.
When he built this car, he was like Dr. Frankenstein. This car was a mishmash of this and that, and he just tried to find the best power plant, the best body, the best pieces to go in what he thought was the ultimate muscle car of the time.
It's a simple, basic, sporting British roadster, and if you take an American V8, put that in the car, you have a light, fast, responsive, really thrilling ride.
It wasn't highly technical, but it was all about power. Carroll Shelby's idea of technology is a big engine, a light car, and a big right foot.
Shelby built a business out of that concept, opening up shop in Venice, California.
Today, Shelby American is a pretty good-sized business. We're building Cobras for racing and for fun. Our Cobras will campaign for the World's Manufacturers Championship, taking on the best Europe has to offer.
After producing a prototype, the Cobra 2000, the first of his production vehicles, the 2001, rolled off the line in 1962.
The rest is in the record books. The new Ford-powered Cobras beat just about everything in sight to win the U.S. Road Racing Championship in 1963.
After the Cobra made its racing debut, Carroll Shelby's supercar caught the attention of designers at Ford who were looking for a way to assert themselves in racing.
Ford Motor Company was in negotiations to buy Ferrari, and that fell through at the 11th hour. So Ford, at that point, Mr. Ford, decided he was going to beat the Italians at their own game, and he brought in Carroll Shelby, who was a winner and doesn't know second place, to beat the Italians.
In 1964, Shelby's GT40 became the first American car to win the Le Mans, and as well as establishing his own company with its own product line, the Maverick designer helped Ford create a number of automotive classics, including the now legendary 1968 Ford GT500 Mustang. But nothing captured the public imagination more than Shelby's original Cobra, which continues to inspire wealthy collectors to spend large sums of money acquiring the original models. Around the time Carroll Shelby was beating Ferrari at Le Mans, the car Bruce Meyer now owns was sold to a Frenchman. It raced on the European circuit and won the Tour de France and the 1,000 kilometers to Paris before disappearing from public for 40 years, until Bruce went to the world-famous Retromobile car show near Paris.
And I saw this Cobra, so I walked by the car several times, and finally I just had to inquire and find out about the car. And the gentleman that was selling the car told me the story that this was 2001, CSX 2001. I couldn't believe it.
Meyer bought the car and shipped it home. It took a year and a half to restore it to its former glory.
Its first outing was at the Quail, which is a very important show and celebration of the automobile in Carmel, and we won Best of Show. And it was a big day for this Cobra. I'm sure Shelby never thought of this car as being a prize winner on the grass, but it was a huge success.
And half a century after its creation, the Cobra is still bringing a special kind of pleasure to the elite few who ever get to drive them.
When you turn the key, the fun begins. And that's what a Cobra is all about. It's not one you can just put one hand on the wheel and relax, because it's aggressive, it's primitive, and not forgiving. The Cobra is a snake with a bite, and this car has a bite to it. So you have to be careful when you drive it that you don't get too aggressive, because it will bite you. This car, the fastest I've been is about 125, 130 miles an hour. But it's capable of much more. But I try and behave myself. And I don't do that here in Beverly Hills.
The experience is priceless, and so too is the car.
I hope I never have to find out what the actual value is, because I plan to enjoy it for many, many years. But there have been Cobras that have sold in the $3 to $5 million range that some would consider less significant. I wouldn't even hazard to guess what the real value of this car is.
The Shelby Cobra 289, an American original with a global lineage and a sticker price that's out of this world. In the world of luxury yachts, first impressions are everything. The Bahia Atlantica 78 is a high-concept, high-performance yacht that doesn't need a big crew to make an enormous splash wherever it goes. Meet the luxury cruiser that thinks it's a powerboat. The $6.2 million Bahia Atlantica 78.
My experience is, first of all, to be noticed wherever you go, because the design and the look, everybody on the dock says, wow, what is this?
This visually striking vessel is the biggest selling boat from a range of stunning creations made by boutique Italian shipbuilders Bahia. The Atlantica measures 78 feet from stern to bow and 20 feet wide. She weighs in at 92,000 pounds and clocks up top speeds almost 3 times faster than the average luxury yacht.
The Bahia Atlantica is really a fun yacht. It's really like a floating lounge that can travel 55 miles per hour. Bahia Yachts is an Italian yacht builder based in Naples, founded in 1961. And they've come to specialize in what I call the Mediterranean cruise yachts. These are yachts under 100 feet typically, but that offer a lot of the same amenities you would find on a larger boat.
On this baby, there's room for 6 guests and 2 crew members to live aboard. And because of her low-slung looks, the Atlantica sports enough space on the foredeck for any visitors who might just happen to drop by.
We built a cabin very far backward in order to keep a very sleek design. For that reason, we can land the helicopter on the Atlantica 78.
The chopper's not included in the sticker price, but the boat's impressive pair of engines is. 2 2,500 horsepower blocks are hooked up to surface-piercing propellers, which run while only half submerged in the water and reduce drag by up to 50%.
With traditional propellers, the entire propeller is in the water, which means greater resistance. Therefore, the boat will go a little slower. With surface-piercing propellers, about 1 inch of the propeller is above the water, which means there's a lot less resistance in the water.
This setup gives the Atlantica the ability to put on an impressive show, producing enormous 200-foot-long plumes of water called rooster tails.
So if you are laying on the beach and there is this monster that passes by, throwing this amount of water, everybody says, look at the rooster tail over there. That's a Bahia.
Aside from the engines, the secret to this big boat's extraordinary speed is an ultralight body constructed from a mixture of fiberglass and Kevlar, the same material used to make bulletproof vests.
So make this boat able to go very fast on the waves and be very solid on the waves.
And by saving weight in the construction, the Bahia's designers could max out the features.
The back partition open, with the sunroof completely open, with all the windows that we have around, you have just the feeling of an open boat, of a sporty boat.
But whether you go topless or seclude yourself in air-conditioned privacy, it's on the inside of the Atlantica that the real show begins. The decor is all about low-key functional luxury, soft leathers, polished wood, and wool carpets throughout all 10 rooms.
This boat has 3 cabins and 3 bathrooms, plus another cabin and another bathroom for the crew.
Elsewhere, gadgets galore, including a retractable plasma TV, pop-up tables, the best in navigation tools, and even centralized light control. All of it wrapped up in the kind of Italian design that both looks good and works well. Built out of an all-American tough truck legend, this long, lean, 6.5-ton tricked-out monster keeps on going and going and going, so the fun never has to end. Meet the astounding Hummer Zine. The Hummer Zine stretches 32 feet, twice the size of an off-the-shelf H2. End to end, it could swallow up no fewer than 3 Mini Coopers. This nightclub on wheels packs the same 6.2-liter V8 engine and 393 horsepower as a regular H2. But doubles up on the power that really matters. Electricity for all the gadgets you need to create a full-on party vibe. The designers even raised the roof on this raver's ride, literally.
So we've in-house made our own custom shell that raises the roof a whole full 12 inches by the time it gets to the back door.
The Hummer Zine makes an ordinary Hummer look tiny, and this legendary truck is no stranger to changing its form. The Hummer began life as a fighting vehicle back in 1984, then hit Main Street a decade later and became a mainstream brand owned by General Motors. Not that Detroit ever dreamt up a makeover quite like this.
Empire International is very unique in what it does. We custom tailor a vehicle like someone would go to a tailor and have their clothes custom tailored.
Whether it's a Hummer or something more traditional, the basic challenge of stretching a car remains the same. Make the vehicle bigger, but keep it safe.
We will strip the car down to bare bones, nothing but metal. The car will then be cut in half precisely to the measurement that the customer has desired. All of our equipment is state-of-the-art, and it leaves no room for error. And these are all important factors so that when you're done, the car rides straight the way it did when it was originally manufactured.
For the Hummer, the body and chassis work took over a month. The same again for decking out the interior, which is where the Hummer Zine really steals the show.
We like to think that when you walk into this car, that's when the party starts, and it shouldn't end until the end of the night when you're leaving it for the last time. It should be a party straight throughout the whole evening. Whether you're in the car, in the club, you shouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Except in this rolling hotspot, you get to choose how to light up your night with 26 preset shows for the ceiling and the floor.
You can make them go faster and faster, changing colors to whatever beat you'd like. Want to put strobes on and a laser light show? You can. They all have multiple settings so that you can dim things for mood or make them brighter.
Whether you want a disco inferno or a little privacy, a single console controls just about everything except the steering wheel.
Our control system's very easy to use. It's all heat-sensitive touch panel.
The Hummer Zine also sports 2 mirrored bars packed with a built-in icebox, champagne wells, liquor decanters, and enough glasses for 20 mobile revelers. A 6,000-watt surround sound stereo keeps the joint jumping. But if the party's just not that wild, passengers can choose from no fewer than 6 TVs.
The party factor in here just goes on forever. I mean, it's just the ultimate. This thing absolutely rocks.
So how does it feel behind the wheel of such a massive limo packed with so many party people?
Driving this Hummer is a lot to remember. It's quite the feat. People tend to get out of your way, though, when they see this big thing coming.
We've added 180 inches to this vehicle, so seeing the rear is a little difficult. So we have a reverse camera with a nice size screen here. It's not difficult to drive once you keep reminding yourself that there's so much more behind you than normal.
And in the Hummer Zine, there's always an adventure in front of you.
Driving this vehicle is a lot of fun. You know, you really have a command of the road. People look out for you. People are always checking you out because it is such a unique vehicle.
The Hummer Zine, 32 feet of fine finishes, over-the-top options, and never-ending fun. From the mysteries of mind-blowing extravagance to the science of record-breaking speed. Wild cars, crazy boats, killer bikes, and massive tarmac-shattering trucks. The priciest, prettiest, and most insanely advanced vehicles on the planet. That's just the way we roll on the world's most expensive rides.